You got the wrong guy.
You were always the wrong guy. Till you weren't.
We are talking Deadpool and Wolverine, and this of course stars Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. And yes, it's one of the biggest films of the year, if not the biggest. I won't go too much into the plot, as I don't want to give any spoilers, plus I'm sure everyone knows who has seen it. But effectively, it tells the story of Wade Wilson, Deadpool, getting recruited by the TVA to go on a mission, and then he gets the aid of Wolverine, or a Wolverine, to help him in his quest. And they fight Cassandra Nova, the twin sister of Charles Xavier. And that's kind of all I'll say on the plot. Now, I have pretty mixed feelings about this movie. In some aspects, there is things that I think this movie is the best of the trilogy that it does, but there's aspects where I feel the elements are the weakest of the trilogy as well. So let me go into what works first, and then we'll go into maybe what I think doesn't. For me, I think this is the funniest out of all the three Deadpool movies. The jokes are very meta. They're very much about the film industry, Marvel comics movies in general, and a whole bunch of kind of inside jokes if you are familiar with the kind of the source material. But they are very funny, and the movie feels a little bit more scripted, I would say, than previous outings. And I think the you know, some of the kind of the setups and the kind of the situations are laugh out loud funny at times. I think both Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are excellent in this movie. I think the interplay is great, and this movie has probably the most gravitas out of the three Deadpool films. This has elements of genuine kind of emotion, heavier scenes, and some more dramatic scenes than kind of compared to the other films. This is also by far and away the highest budgeted, and it kind of shows on the screen with various different location shooting and kind of set pieces, and lots of kind of cameos and references. I won't say what they are here, but there are a reasonable amount, and I think some of them you know, are on a lot longer than I was expecting. Some of them I would say are legitimate supporting characters rather than cameos, I would say. Some are very quick cameos, but yes, some others I think would arguably be supporting characters in their own kind of right. And there's plenty of action sequences. I would say the majority of action sequences, you know, are shot very well. It's pretty violent, as you'd probably expect, and I think you know, this movie pushes the boundaries in regards to really kind of making it accessible to somewhat younger audiences, but still being pretty adult at the kind of the same sort of time. And there's more action sequences definitely than maybe certainly the first movie, and I would even argue maybe the second movie as well. What doesn't work in this movie for me, the stuff involving the TVA, the Time Variance Authority. If you're wondering what that is, this is a organisation that was set up in the Loki TV series that's to deal with the kind of the multiverse and things, and it was just speaking gobbledygook. I think the characters in that just seem like they're from a different kind of movie, a different sort of type of film. It's all lots of just scientific pseudoscience and gobbledygook, and it doesn't really make a lick of sense. Even if you've seen Loki, I just think it's just like just saying a bunch of stuff. Angus McFadden, I think the actor's now, I didn't like his character. Too over the top, too silly. And I think the TVA and the multiverse stuff, and admittedly they do make jokes about how the multiverse hasn't gone down very well, but I don't think it has gone down very well, and I think this movie suffers by having a very convoluted multiverse kind of storyline. There are elements here that I felt were underutilised. You would have seen in the trailers, and I'm not going to spoil anything it wasn't in the trailers, but there's Deadpool variants. I thought they were a complete waste of time. That scene is... It's a nothing scene, if I'm honest. I thought they were going to have a maybe a more impactful scene in the movie. I just didn't think it amounted to much of anything, to be honest with you. To be honest, the multiple Deadpool variant scenes seemed just like an excuse to have different Funko Pops and merchandise made. It didn't really feel like it served really any other purpose than that, if I'm honest. And it could have been a bunch of stormtroopers. It didn't really do much of the film. One of the probably the biggest fight scene, I think, was filmed in a way like it's background noise, is the best way to describe it. It's the biggest fight involving the most amount of combatants, and I think that sequence, you feel like you really weren't seeing as much as you wanted to see, and it was kind of playing in the background. You know, that was kind of, yeah, it was a little bit disappointing at times where they felt that the focus, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more closer to the action and a bit more longer takes and things like that in a particular action sequence. Emma Corrin as Cassandra Nova, I have mixed feelings of. I think she's a little bit underdeveloped, to be honest. I think she has some interesting kind of power sets, and I like some of her performance in regards to kind of her inflections and how she is, how she kind of delivers her dialogue and stuff. But I think the character really isn't particularly well established and underrepresented in regards to having any type of real sort of genuine character, I didn't think. So I gotta be honest with you, I think this story it's a lot of jargon, it's a lot of kind of like pseudoscience, it's a lot of just kind of we need the plot to go one place to another. But it's the funniest scenes. It probably has the most action outside the one scene where I didn't feel like the action was particularly good, and all the kind of the meta stuff and the surprises, I think, are far more than any other Deadpool sort of sequence and movie that you've seen to this point. So I don't know. I honestly don't know if this is a movie that I'd want to watch again in its entirety. It's probably a film I would skip to different scenes and kind of watch scenes, and that's kind of how I feel about it. But there are scenes that I think are very well done. I'm going to give it an above average score, but I don't think it's all that special, if you ask me. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I was bordering on a 7, but I think I'm going to go for a 6. It was pretty good, it was enjoyable, but I think, would I want to watch it again all in its entirety? Probably not. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Please do let me know what your thoughts are, and I shall look forward to seeing you next time.